we enjoyed a bike ride, knowing that tomorrow would mark our return to school. Today, our journey took us down Park Heights, reaving through the field and woods near Towanda Rec Center. We pedaled back up Reisterstown Road, exploring the maze of little side streets around our homes. Along these paths, the aroma of fried food wafted from Chinese eateries with their giant fans, and piles of trash loomed high. Occasionally, we glimpsed two individuals engaging in activities better suited for privacy indoors. The clock struck 2 in the afternoon, and the scorching sun beat down relentlessly. In Baltimore, September proved to be just as sweltering as August. We were fully aware that our time at school would be as sweat-inducing as standing around at the rec or strolling down the alley behind Toro's house. That particular alley, where, a few days post-4th of July, we encountered a figure that appeared lifeless, prompting us to flee in fear. Whether we were lounging in Zion's backyard, sipping on Capri Suns, the heat seemed to intensify the need for a different, thirst-quenching beverage. "I'm so thirsty," Toro said to nobody in particular. Then he looked at William and said, "Miss Derry got any soda?" "Maybe," William said. We cycled down St. Charles Avenue to William's residence, a quaint 2-story brick row house typical of those scattered throughout Park Heights. Some of these houses appeared well maintained, while others were in disrepair, lacking steps, missing roofs, or with front windows through which you could see the sky. Fortunately, William's house fell into the former category, standing as one of the well-kept ones on the block. It was distinguished by a substantial tree, perhaps a towering pine, surpassing even the height of the house itself. Down St. Charles Avenue, we cycled to William's residence, a typical 2-story brick row house, emblematic of those found throughout Park Heights. In this neighborhood, some stood in decent condition, while others were dilapidated, lacking steps, with missing roofs that exposed the sky through the vacant front windows. William's house fell into the former category, presenting a well-maintained appearance. It was notably among the few houses on the block adorned with a substantial tree, possibly a towering pine, surpassing even the house's height. Discarding our bikes, we ascended the steps with a clamor, entering the house so boisterously that even before crossing the threshold, Miss Terry's voice echoed, "I know I didn't raise no elephant. Coming in here like that, it's gotta be an emergency." She wasn't in the living room. Her voice emanated from the staircase. It seemed she was likely indulging in one of her siestas, as she referred to them. "Sorry, Miss Derry," William called immediately. "Just get in some soda." "Well, get it quick, and get it quiet," Miss Derry said. "Lord Jesus, it's too hot to be running around like that." We guzzled plastic cups of Sprite and poked around in some chips that Miss Derry had on the counter, then crept out of the house. As we came down the steps, William said, "Where's my bike?" We all looked. He was right. When we went in his house, he had put it next to the pine tree. Now it was gone. There was mine, Toro's, Zion's all right where we had left them, but William's wasn't there. William looked stressed. "Where's my bike?" he moaned. "Miss Terry's gonna kill me." Zion got on his bike and circled around a little. "Oh, you in trouble." "Shut up," William yelled. Okay, Toro said. He was the one of us always who wanted to calm people down. He did yoga at school. We were only in the house a couple minutes. Whoever took it gotta be close. Get on Isaiah's bike, and we'll go look for it. William gripped my shoulder and rose onto my pegs. I didn't object. My bike surpassed theirs in size and could comfortably accommodate 2 riders. We pedaled uphill along Belvedere towards Sinai. As we cruised past the chop shop on Queensberry, we spotted Mac outside, wiping his hands. "Ask Mac, Will," Zion said. "He always knows where to find stuff." We turned around and pulled over to the shop. "Sup, boys," Mac said. He was wiping his face now. He had sweat and black grease on his cheeks. "Mac, did you see anybody riding around on a bike looked like this one?" William said. He gestured towards Toro's bike, since their bicycles looked nearly identical. Mac directed our attention across the street to the fence surrounding the racetrack. A white sign attached to one of the fence poles declared, "Pimlico Race Course Private Property, No Trespassing." Bay's a young bass head who works in a stable over there and likes to swipe things. He might know where your bike is. "But how do we get in?" I asked. "Go knock on the door." Mac's face broke into a wide grin. "I'm just messing with you, young." "Here, wait a minute." Mac returned to his shop, tossing his rag onto a pile of car parts in the corner. He bent down, retrieved something, and came back to us holding a weathered crowbar. "You can lift the bottom of the fence with this and hold it for each other. I'll keep an eye on your bikes." Zion seemed cautious. "Jesus, boy, what am I gonna do with 3 kids' bikes?" Mac waved his hands. "You do what you want." "Thanks, Mac," William said, taking the crowbar. "It's okay. Listen, if that chunky gives you any trouble, just brandish that crowbar at him and make a quick getaway. Got it?" Toro leveraged the crowbar to lift the bottom links of the fence, and William slipped underneath, followed by Zion and then me. Toro passed the crowbar to Zion, who held up the fence for Toro to crawl through. It was challenging because Toro was sizable. "If this guy is nuts, I'm gone," Zion remarked. "He probably already sold it." "Shut up," William retorted. "We don't even know." "What if he doesn't have it?" I began, then stopped myself. "I don't know," William replied, sounding as if he was speaking from behind the barrier. Navigating through grass and broken bottles, we reached a wooden building. It was lengthy and close to the ground, with the sounds of horses audible within. "Do you think this is it?" William whispered. "Only one way to find out," Turo said. "Come on." We circled the front of the building, which was open. Inside, it was dimly lit, with scents of manure, grass, and dust in the air. A man, his back to us, smoked a cigarette. His clothes were dusty and worn, with bits of lint in his hair. In front of him, two brown, glossy horses neighed as they saw us. The men turned around and noticed our presence. Beside a lengthy table adorned with an array of brushes, combs, and an assortment of leather and metal items, a bicycle leaned against the side. "What's going on?" the man uttered, his voice hoarse. His eyes were red and teary, suggesting a night spent incessantly blowing his nose. "You've taken my bike," William declared, his voice trembling. I couldn't help but imagine I'd sound the same if I were in his position. "I want it back." The man glanced at the bicycle. "This is my bike." "Nonsense," Zion interjected, tightening his grip on the crowbar, his expression visibly enraged. When Zion was angry, caution was imperative. "That's our friend's bike, man," Toro affirmed. The man held the cigarette close to his mouth, allowing it to smolder between his fingers. He stared at Zion, then at the rest of us. His mouth twitched. "Well, take it then." With his back turned to the horses, Zion circled one way, and Toro went the other. The man observed them with wide, red eyes as they converged near the bike. He continued observing as Toro wheeled it to the front of the stable. "Better be more careful with your bike," the man softly remarked. The cigarette had almost burned down to his fingers. "Don't take anything that doesn't belong to you," Zion warned as he stepped back. Once we had all retreated from the stable, we sprinted as fast as we could to the fence. It took about 2 seconds to reach it. Zion held the fence up while we shoved the bike under. We scrambled underneath as well, and then Zion ascended the fence and threw himself over to the other side. We all sat on the sidewalk, breathing hard, sweating, and scratched up. Mac emerged from the shop, a broad, proud smile breaking across his face. "Damn, you got it." William held the bike, patting it as if he had built it himself. "Yeah," he said, then inspected the seat more closely. He leaned in, realizing there was RIP with some stuffing bulging out. "What is it?" I asked. William pointed to the seat. He tore the seat. "Oh, man," Zion exclaimed. "No." William inspected the frame, noticing the thin green stripe by the pedals had been replaced with a fat gold one. "What?" Toro started. Nervously, William confessed, "This isn't my bike." It neared 4 o'clock as we rode down Belvedere. William appeared uneasy on the unfamiliar bike, glancing around as if anticipating someone to knock him down and take this one too. The sun, seemingly hotter now than in the middle of the afternoon, gleamed off cars, store windows, and countless glass fragments scattered and embedded in the street. "I'm hungry," Toro remarked. "Think Miss Derry would mind if we had more of her chips?" William stayed silent. "He can't ask Miss Terry for anything now," Zion muttered. A police car sped out of Cuthbert and raced toward Reisterstown, siren blaring and lights flashing. Taro insisted on stopping at M's Supermart to grab a bag of tikkies. We sat in the grass in the vacant lot beside the store, watching cars zoom by, smelling the pungent spice of the tikkies, the strange bitter pepper aroma of the weeds beneath us, and the scent of gas additives from guys tinkering with their dirt bikes on kickstands, clinking and clanking them with tools. The sun beat down, and we sat there, soaking it in, feeling sweat trickle down our backs and through the bands of our underwear. We sat, waited, and sat some more. Back on St. Charles, we pedaled slowly. When we passed the alley just before William's block, I peered down and spotted something shiny that prompted me to yell, "Look!" We all stopped and gazed down the alley. William hopped off the borrowed bike, letting it drop with a springy boink. He sprinted down the alley, retrieved the silvery object, and picked it up. He stood there for a few moments. When he turned around, he was wheeling a bike on its back wheel toward us. The front wheel was bent almost in half. "Oh snap!" Zion exclaimed. "Is that your bike?" William reeled his bike around the corner and onto the sidewalk. He passed us and continued toward his house. "What about this one, Will?" called Toro. "You want it?" William paused at the bottom of the steps. "No," he said, "it ain't mine." He wheeled his bike up the steps onto the porch, opened the door, and went into the house.